Fooly Cooly is a series with many hidden messages bubbling just below the surface, and the most overlooked are the drinks our characters consume. Right from the beginning, in episode 1, Naota is confronted with this carbonated question, with Mamimi offering him the rest of her drink. She even chooses the drink for him, illustrating Naota's lack of agency and feelings of being powerless with no control over his life. She decides when she leaves her mark on him. She decides when she's interested in him and when they share physical contact. She uses him as a surrogate for his older brother. She doesn't love him, but she likes the idea of what he represents. She is offering him the rest of her drink, the literal sloppy seconds, the leftovers. This is what their entire dynamic and remnants of a relationship are. Naota is a second choice, a backup, a fallout, signified by the few remaining sips left in the drink she offers him. The drink she chose for Naota further illustrates her focus on her own feelings and lack of concern for its impact on Naota. Her advances aren't for his own good. She does so to quell the confusion inside herself, to stop herself from overflowing. She doesn't dislike Naota, she just doesn't love him. She isn't concerned with how her actions lead him on or negatively impact his life, yet she follows up her selfish act by offering him the rest. This perfectly encapsulates their situation. She does something selfish that disrupts and confuses him. Then she acts caring and kind to circumvent this, yet never truly wants or loves him. She chugs the lemonade as Naota mumbles, "You know I don't like sour drinks." She does what she wants, but still somewhat cares about him. "Here, it's yours, isn't it?" As she smiles at Naota and gives him the rest. Sharing a drink isn't something you would do casually with someone you don't care about. It's slightly sensual, drinking something someone else had their lips on. It's something couples do commonly without a second thought, furthering the fizzing figments of a relationship Naota feels between the two. Mamimi mentions that there's more than half the lemonade left. Whether or not this is true, as she seemingly downed the majority of the juice, it once again romanticizes the interaction. She did choose the drink for him, but she also gave him more than half, making Naota believe that she isn't truly selfish. She offers him the rest, paired with the flirtatious smile, concluding her sentence by calling him chief. This endearing hypocorism has hints of respect and admiration pulsing through its pronunciation. The glass, or in this case, the can, is half full, further illustrated with the filter over her smile. In that moment, things seem to brighten, like Naota really could end up happy with her. Yet, without even more than a second to bask in this reality, bitter memories of his brother soar into the picture. Feelings of inadequacy, unimportance, and inferiority shock Naota back to reality and uncloud his mind. For a second, he doesn't fall for the facade. He fights for his own happiness and sees things clearly. He chucks the can aside, no longer enticed by Mamimi's backwash. He follows this up with the taboo of bringing his brother up to her, breaking the illusion that he represents to her. She can't escape if she thinks of the real him, and Naota knows this. But before he can go further, Haruko slams into the scene, further disrupting and displacing the interaction. Later in the episode, Naota is offered the same drink, though this time he truly ponders it. He believes they had a breakthrough on that bridge, that by defending Mamimi, she would fall for him, just like with his older brother, that she would love him now. So this time, when offered half of her drink, he downs every last drop, literally accepting all aspects of Mamimi into himself and his life. And all of these emotions were captured and contained in 2 simple cans of lemonade. Yet this is only the beginning. The next drink we see is with Ninamori. At a low point in her life, we see her downtown drinking alone. This is where the drinking aspect of Cooly cuts to the surface, painting a picture and clear parallel between soft drinks and actual drinking, represented by this depressing outlook and vibe of her situation. She's trying to escape, so she went out for a drink. This character that emulates adults is doing the same with her coping mechanisms. Yet, she is only drinking soda, signifying her immaturity and torn desire to be a kid for herself and an adult for her father. She is put under constant pressure as the mayor's daughter and tries to find solace through her melon Cheerio. We then move on to Coffee and Amaral. This character, who pretends to be an adult, drops constant and continual cubes of sugar into his concoction, removing any bitter taste from the coffee, tainting an adult experience with immaturity. Coffee is a drink enjoyed by adults, closely tied to the unsweet reality of working to survive. It is bitter in nature and symbolizes the aspects of life that aren't enjoyable, but he rejects this. He rejects pain and uncomfortable feelings. He only likes sweet. He is one-dimensional and unable to grow. He hinders himself by running away from sorrow. He only wants to experience the easy and happy moments of life. He isn't mature enough to face the coffee alone. He dilutes it and drowns it out with sugar. He has to cut it with something until he can handle it, until it almost isn't coffee anymore. This is exactly how he tries to deal with pain, by pumping it full of excuses until it no longer feels bitter with thoughts of his own mistakes and inadequacies. He blames everything on Haruko, and although she is undoubtedly at fault for his trauma, he is furthering this destruction of his life by not facing the feelings, drowning them out in disregard and sugary distraction. He isn't a bad person and does try to warn Naota of Haruko's true nature, but he also encourages Naota to only drink sweet things. This is a thinly veiled attempt at validation, at feeling like he isn't alone or wrong in solely indulging in sweetness. He wants Naota to go down the same path he did, but Naota doesn't buy it, ironically illustrating more maturity in this instance. Unfortunately, Naota later pushes himself too far in the opposite direction. He tries too hard to be mature, manifested in his decision to drink straight black coffee, misunderstanding and misinterpreting what it means to be an adult, trying to only face the realities of life while simultaneously cutting out any childlike whimsy. But that's not maturity either. You can have moments of each, culminating together in a drink that is sometimes sweet and sometimes bitter, the good and the bad, the yin and the yang. Speaking of this dichotomy, we move on to a sweeter drink, orange juice, only this time it has pulp. Mamimi confronts Naota about his drink choice. She asks him if he likes orange juice with the pulp now. At first, Naota doesn't understand, but things become clear when she asks how Haruko likes her orange juice, and if she drinks it with the pulp. She sees Naota changing from Haruko's influence. Something as small as drink preferences is already being overtaken, and this was something he starkly stood against her for in the past. But with Haruko, it's different. Naota is conforming to her will so much so that it bleeds into all aspects of his being. Mamimi is worried about losing Naota to her. He no longer drinks lemonade, which is her drink of choice. No, now he has moved on to Haruko, just as his brother had moved on and left her. Naota is allowing Haruko to impact his character. He is emulating her. She has her talons dug into him. Naota is drinking the orange juice with pulp because that's what Haruko does. And this seemingly silly line about orange juice brings up the most integral theme of FLCL. Don't let others make up who you are. Find it out for yourself. Throughout the course of the series, Cooley urges you to not fall so head over heels for someone that you lose who you are, to not allow their traits and desires to overtake you, to grow up and find yourself, which leads perfectly to the final drink. After Mamimi and Haruko leave Naota's life, he moves on. He has begun the journey of self-acceptance, climbing the mountain to stake claim to himself. And in perfect FLCL fashion, we jump right back to a similar feeling. Nina Mori chooses Naota's drink for him, offering it once she has had half. And as FLCL comes to an end, Naota exclaims that he can't drink the soda because it's too carbonated. Life comes in waves and cycles. You will undoubtedly experience similarities on the roundabout of growing up. But this time, things feel a little different, less hostile and less negative. Naota is choosing not to drink the drink, but this time, not out of anger or resentment. It's simply because he doesn't like it. Because he's being honest with himself, being true to who he is, cracking open a can chock full of maturity and happiness.